Welcome to the Chronically Healthy Life show, streaming live from St. Louis today. Now, when you hear the word chronically, do you automatically associate chronic with chronic disease? I know we all do. It's been programmed into all of us. But what if we flip the whole idea on its head? Let's discover how we can create chronic health in our bodies, in our minds, our finances, our relationships, and of course, our lives. So let's jump right in. I'm Andy, and joining me is my partner in all things in crime, Minna. How are you, Minna?
Well, at this time, you can actually ask me how I am because you're not here with me. So it's interesting that we're in two different cities this time. We don't separate a lot, so this is we haven't actually done this in a while.
Yes,
But since you're in St. Louis and I'm home in Houston, and you can't see, but our four cats is actually circling me like sharks. So I'm not lonely at all. They're keeping me company. But it sounds like you have a lot of fun in St. Louis. So why don't you tell us about it?
yes. So I'm in St. Louis. I was invited to be a speaker, and here's a shameless plug. It's becoming the best U event here in St. Louis. There's like 35 speakers talking about changing your life and becoming the best version of you. And I was just here talking about longevity and how people can take charge of their health. But there's 35 other speakers that's talking about how to get finances, how to get your finances in order, how to chase your why. We got pastors here, we got drug addicts, we got people victims of child abuse. It's such an amazing event.
Yeah, I can see that the events are very empowering, and it's always good to hear other people that has went through so much more than us, and they somehow manage to come out ahead and become something that somebody that is respectable and successful. So I'm glad you made it to it, made it there.
Yeah, it's been an amazing event so far. I'm just on my first day, and I'm just actually slipping out a little bit. The event's still going on downstairs. The show must go on, right? The show must go on.
Right, and since you just passed Valentine's Day, let's talk about love this time. So Valentine's Day was just a few days ago, right?
Mhm.
And love and relationship is a big part of chronically healthy life. So how did you celebrate Valentine's Day? For us, we've been together since high school, and that was 35 years or so. And we've been married for 23 of those years. So when we first got married, Andy actually insisted on celebrating Valentine's Day on February 12th instead of 14th, which is what Valentine's Day is supposed to be, right? So at first, I just thought he forgot to book a place, something like that. But apparently, he had another reason, and I'll let him explain.
It's funny that Minna brings that up because for years, I always told Minna, let's celebrate Valentine's Day on the 12th. She never questioned it. I guess, she just figured I was being cheap or whatever it was be. But, you know, to her surprise, I gave her a diamond promise ring on our seventh year together. And she freaked out, of course, 7 years together. She thought I was proposing. And then, of course, she started joking, well, these diamonds are pretty darn small for, engagement ring. And it hurt my feelings, but whatever. We're the foolish couple. I can handle a few swings from her. And, the whole reasoning for me giving her this ring is like 7 years. That's usually when relationships fail, right? I'm sure everyone has heard of the term 7 year itch. That's usually when relationships they get stale, partners get bored of each other, and then they are just having a stray eye and they might even cheat on each other. For me, giving her this promise ring 7 years into a relationship and on February 12th, it had tremendous significance to our relationship. And if you get to know us better, you would know that, I'm definitely more sappy and nostalgic than Minna between the two of us. And, I think I'm more romantic. I don't know what she says in her head. But, anyways, February 12th is the day that we first had our first date. after being rejected by our Valentines during senior year in high school. And our first date was put together as a joke, and that was like 35 years ago. And it's fate. There are a lot of things that we believe in, and fate is one of them. And from that first date, we grew so much more in love, and each day we get more in love. And so February 12th, it had a tremendous significance to me. And and that's why I always took Minna out on February 12th for Valentine's Day. And giving her that promised ring to renew our love, on our 7th year together was my way of renewing our love and craziness that we've gone through together, all those crazy years together.
So February 12th is more like a tradition for us now that we've been together for so long. And I think the restaurants are actually catching up. Not because of us, obviously, but I do see the restaurants are offering Valentine's menus for actually a few days before Valentine's. So, they're catching up on it. But on the topic of love, I can say I love you a lot, but how do you measure love? And interestingly, the quest to search for love has been around for centuries. Now, in this picture, you can see that back in 1937, Ed Keever actually invented a cubitoscope, and it promised to reveal if a couple is truly in love. Now, there are other experiments, such as this one here, that kind of look like a lie detector. But, there are different people, different scientists attempting to actually measure love. I don't actually think that there's actually a scientific machine that can measure the level of love that we have. Love is really just a feeling that we feel deep inside our hearts. And I'm not just talking about between a couple, right? There is love between parents and children, siblings, and of course, to our fur babies. I know that you're away, and I know that you miss your kids. So here you go. Here's Wolfie when he was younger. And here, just so you know, I know you miss him. So there you go.
For sure. I miss all my kids. Like everyone's always talking about the kids. The fur babies are our kids. And as you get to know us, we don't have children of our own. Minna's taking care of 5 kids, 4 fur babies, and me full time. And, I think we are as young as we think. As long as we're thinking we're young, we're never going to get old. That's really my thinking. That's really what I like to talk about.
So we talked about a lot about unconditional. I know we haven't talked about it at the show, but a lot of people is looking for unconditional love. But really, for unconditional love, in my opinion, the only one that's truly unconditional is self-love.
Mm-hmm.
You can argue that you can have unconditional love between a couple or between parents and children. It's probably unconditional. That actually definitely is. But I do believe that you can truly love yourself for who you are. That's unconditional, and that's truly unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't love yourself, well, then I hope that by watching our show, it will help you love yourself a little bit more every day.
I agree. Like that is really our vision and purpose, because we need to start loving ourselves before we can learn to love others, right? And after the break, we're going to give you a quick biohacking tip. And of course, we're going to talk about unconditional love and how cats and dogs, how they can help you actually live longer and have happier lives too. You don't want to miss this. We'll see you right back.
It's your time, and the Becoming the Best You conference in St. Louis is where you want to be. This 3-day event featuring over 35 impactful speakers with 16 breakout sessions to choose from will help you achieve the best of your life for the rest of your life. Come and dance the night away on Saturday night at the Black Tie Affair and enjoy the live entertainment as we close out Tickling Your Funny Bone with comedian Jeremy Nunez. Get your tickets today and we'll see you there.
Welcome to Chronically Healthy Life. My name is Minna, and when we talk about cooking healthy at home, it doesn't mean that you have to change everything. It doesn't even mean that you have to change your the taste profile of what you're cooking. We saw the other day that you can just replace the salt with something healthier, like a Celtic salt or a Himalayan salt, and it would make your cooking healthier without actually changing the taste of what you're cooking. The same thing goes with sugar. Now, as a kid, when my mom cooked something like a watercress soup or something that has a bitterness in it, she would put something like this. This is called a monk fruit. This is a real monk fruit, and it's not that easy to use as a sweetener. So somebody came up with the genius idea of turning that into actual sugar. This is an example. You can find different ones at the grocery stores. They're all called monk fruit sugar, and they come in white, they come in brown, they come in powder form. All you have to do is replace your refined sugar with monk fruit sugar. You can use it in your cooking, you can use it in your baking, and however you want to use it. It is sweeter than the regular sugar, but it tastes fabulous. Now, there are other alternatives. This one is 0 calorie and zero glycemic, which is why I prefer to use that. Of course, there's also stevia, not the brand, but the stevia plant, which you can also use for your cooking also, but I don't like the taste profile of stevia, so which is why I don't have it, and I don't have that to show you. Now, there are other options. Honey is actually a great option. It is not 0 calorie and it's not 0 glycemic. However, it is healthy for you. And you can see that I buy different types of honey from local farmers. And the reason for that is when you buy local honey, the closer the farm is to you, the better. That will help you with your seasonal allergies, with your pollen allergies and things like that. So when you go to a farmer's market, ask the farmer where the bee farm is. The closer it is, the better. And of course, worth a mention is this is called Manuka honey. This came from a Manuka tree, and it's known to have properties that fight viral infections, which is really good for you. So if you do see that in stores, you can give it a try when you feel like you have a cold or flu or something coming up. Manuka honey actually really works really well. Now, I also have honeycomb, which is not really for cooking or for baking. It's something that you eat. You just take a spoonful and eat it, and it is very satisfying, and it's much better than if you're feeling hungry or you want to pick up like a chocolate bar or a candy bar. A spoonful of honeycomb is much better for you. So there you have it. Monk fruit sugar instead of the regular white sugar, and you're on your way to a healthier cooking. See you next time. So I have a sweet tooth, so replacing the sugar really makes a lot of difference in my health. After I change the type of sugar that I use, I notice that my blood sugar level is lower and more stable than before, and I don't feel as sluggish or as slow and dumb after I eat something that's sweetened. If I use a low glycemic sugar, it's definitely better for me. Andy, what do you think?
I totally agree. I think many of you may think that if you're not diabetic, you don't have to worry about your sugar intake. But, just because your doctor tells you that your blood sugar level is fine, it doesn't mean that you're healthy. It could still mean that it's elevated, and, you could be very close to being pre-diabetic. And the doctors are telling you you're fine because it's just not quite high enough for them to tell you where you will need prescription medication, right? So don't always go by what your doctors say, that your labs look fine, they're normal. One of the things we always say is let us have a closer look as a functional nutritionist to see if they're optimal. But let's move on. Today is February the 17th. So we are still in Valentine's week, and it's Valentine's Day this week, and I really want to talk more about unconditional love. And we're not going to be talking about the unconditional love that you get from your parents or your significant other. I think that is so important too. But we're going to be talking about unconditional love with your cats and dogs. And Minna, did you know that having a cat or dog in your family can actually help you live a longer and healthier life?
Well, I didn't know that, but I do feel like I'm a happier person, and having pets actually does help me calm down when things blow up. So I can see how that works.
For sure, for sure. Well, let's start with dogs, right? Dogs are known as man's best friend. Your dog misses you as soon as you leave the home. And if you notice, dogs are always excited to see you when you get home. How many of you can say that at home, that your significant other is excited when you leave the home and then excited again when you come home, right? Dogs, they never judge you or complain about your cooking. They don't complain about things not getting done or the house is too dirty, right? Minna is like, what do you think about that?
Well, you don't actually leave the house, so I can't exactly do that. Except this time, I have to pick you up.
Exactly. And dogs, they eat whatever you feed them. And they almost have the sixth sense that whenever you're not feeling well, you're sad, they're right there. They're eager to be with you, to comfort you, to lower your stress. And they're great for protecting you against invaders. And of course, they love having walks, forcing you to take walks too, right?
So I remember that you used to have a dog called Tiger. Do you want to talk about him?
Yeah, Tiger was a chow chow, and we had a lot of dogs growing up, but he's the only one that was close to my heart because we had Tiger. He's one of these big, cuddly, furry dogs. At the same time, we had our first cat, and I can remember, no matter how my cat aggravated him, Tiger would never bite him, even though he's like a gazillion times the size. And Tiger, when he was around, he kept my mom's and dad's health in check with all the daily walks. But however, when he got older, we have to put him down. And when he passed, I can actually see my parents' health going down too, because now they're not moving anymore. They're just sitting at home watching TV. So without the long walks, their health just went down quite a bit. But cats, of course, are a totally different story from dogs. And we love our fur babies to death. Minna, why don't you talk about why we have cats as our kids rather than having dogs?
So as a kid, I have eczema. So my parents decided not that I should not be touching any animals at all. So growing up, I have never touched any animals at all until we actually we have a business together in the 20s. We actually have an automotive store, and at that time, my sister actually had a baby. So we went to look at the baby. I'm like, let's get a cat. So I don't know what kind of reaction that is, but that's how Rally came along. And Rally's our first cat. We deliberately picked a cat that is exactly like Garfield, lazy, yellow, and we loved him to death. Rally we stayed with us for almost 20 years. He played with Tiger at some point, and I know he traumatizes Tiger all the time, but we love him. Do you remember Rally?
Oh yeah, he's dear to my heart, and he's always with me. And I still see him around the house. I really believe in that. But we had two other fur babies with Raleigh during that time, Chewy and Chloe, and of course we loved them too. But they passed almost a year from each other. It's almost like they had broken heart syndrome too. I don't know if that happens in cats, but that's basically what happened with our three fur babies that we first had. We now have four Patches. We have Azuki, we have Elsa, and our biggest and youngest boy is Wolfie. And unlike cats, unlike dogs, I like to say, cats, they're a little bit more independent. They don't need to be constantly walked. They don't greet you when you come home like a dog does. And it doesn't really mean they don't love you. I think it's because they know that you will always be coming back home to them, right? What do you think, Minna? It's like, you got to love them.
So I do believe that dogs do have unconditional love. Cats, to me, is different. You kind of have to earn it, right? You have to love them first. You have to give them your love before they can respect you and give them your love back. So I feel like for me, that's the deal that I like, because I don't want it to be well, you love me either way, no matter what I am, with who I am. But I feel I have to work for it, and I actually like it.
That is so true. It's like every morning they come to you and they expect you to feed them. There are alarm clocks. We have no alarm clocks. Wolfie starts crying in the middle of the morning. Feed me. Mommy goes feed them. I tend to the litter box. I think that's how we earn the love of them.
So since we talked about unconditional with dogs and cat and how they can help you live longer, we're excited today that we have two representatives from Mutts and Meow Rescue, Tania and Jenny. And after the break, they're going to join us and talk about their rescue and about fur babies. So we'll be right back.
Hello, we are Mutts and Meow Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meow Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meow Rescue is foster-based and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meow Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Welcome back. Welcome Tania and Jenny from Mutts and Meow Rescue. Welcome. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Hi.
So we were very happy to have you two on the show. So Tania and Jenny, we want to basically have two groups of questions for you guys. One is what inspired you to start the business and what does it take to actually start a rescue business like yours? Two, of course, is you as experts, what do you do with when you're adopting fur babies? What do you look out for? So Tania and Jenny, what inspired you to create this rescue and what's the story behind it?
Okay, so we didn't start the rescue. We are volunteers. The person who started the rescue, her name is Ramona, and she's based up in Missouri City. And from there is where we branch off to our foster homes. Mutts and Meows is a foster-based rescue. So we need foster homes to be able to rescue more pets, dogs and cats. I started volunteering in 2017, and Jenny.
She brought me in about 2018. Excuse me, 2019.
Yes.
So it's all her fault.
Yes. So ever since then, it has, I guess, taken over our lives a little bit.
Yes.
We have our full-time jobs, and we also pretty much volunteer full-time for the rescue. So
that is quite amazing, and it sounds like this is something that you're doing on part-time because you got your full-time jobs. Is it just the two of you that's on the team, or like do you need other people that needs to be on your team? Like what does it look like to for the Mutts and Meows Rescue?
There's quite a few of us on the team. Here in Katy alone, there's 3 of us that do a lot of the transporting, picking up a dog off the street, doctor's appointments. But almost every single person who fosters in Mutts and Meows Rescue is actually a huge part, because they all, even if we're not able to step up and take that dog to the doctor's appointment or transport, that foster will take their own pet to their appointments. So it's really it's a big team effort.
So it sounds like you guys are just picking up strays off the road. Like, do you guys actively drive around looking for strays, or do people call you? Like, how does that all work?
So somehow, every now and then, often we'll get a text said, "Hey, Tania, someone gave me your number and they say that you will take my dog." I'm like, what? Okay, can I get more details? Or we'll have people tell us that they've seen an injured pet. Or, we have friends also within a Katy Animal Shelter who we help a lot too. So we try to pull dogs from the shelter as well that have been there for a while. So again, the more fosters we have, the more pets we can help. We may have somebody tell us, hey, we have a mama cat that's about to give birth, but if we don't have a place for that mama cat to go, it's really hard for us to help them out. So that's where a foster home is very beneficial to our rescue and any rescue, a place to be open to be able to take that extra pet that is coming either from the shelter or from the street or somebody surrendering their pet.
Right.
So, as someone, like, because me and Andy talked about starting our own nonprofit, and we're thinking of doing like a cat wellness kind of center kind of thing. So, I think that there's a lot of viewers that, like us, they want to, at some point, they are fed up with the jobs. They want to do something that actually is meaningful to them, their lives. So, if a viewer wants to start doing something like what you guys do, what do you think is the first step for them? What do you suggest?
I think the first step is to have a group of people that are willing to help you out, because at
That's
first it's gonna you're gonna need help.
It becomes overwhelming if you're in charge of all the dogs coming in, keeping track, medical records, doctor's appointments, anything that involves a dog. I mean, you can get stuck with 20, 30 dogs in the beginning, and then you're just going to feel overwhelmed. Even cats, half the time you don't even know if a dog or a cat is pregnant. They could be right in the beginning stage of it, but it's very overwhelming. So a team is very, very important.
So let's flip it around and ask you, if I'm for families that looking to maybe adopt or adopt a cat, how do you filter these families, and how do you know if they're the right match?
Well, we ask a lot of questions. If somebody's interested in one of my fosters, we try to ask all kinds of questions. We'll ask sometimes for a video of their house, their backyard, and they're a little bit of a background as far as other pets that they've had. How old was the pet when they passed away, or we'll just start asking all kinds of questions. That way we can kind of get a feel.
Is it a right home for them?
Yeah. And sometimes the people will answer the questions perfectly, and we will be very pleased. And it turns out that it's not the perfect home. So sadly, we pretty much have to trust in what they tell us, what they show us, and trust that they are going to be the perfect home.
Do you ever have people returning their pets to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
How
do they know? Like, do you give them like a trial period? Is that how you know that they just don't want?
It just depends. For example, if we have a dog that is a problem dog, for example, the last one that we had, it's a puppy that has never been around cats before. So the person who wanted to adopt her had cats. We're like, well, we don't know how she is with cats, so you can take her on a foster to adopt, and you can see how she does. Sadly, the puppy failed, did not leave the cats alone, not aggressively, just wants to play, and so she came back to us. We've had dogs that have been aggressive at first, so we let them go on a foster to adopt basis so they can see if the dog gets along with their dogs, their cats, the owners, and stuff like that. And when it doesn't work out, they come back to us.
So is there a difference? Certain people look for babies, right? Because they're cute, they're fluffy. And then there are other people that look for actually older pets because they're actually better company. Is how do you like? Do you suggest different animals to different people? How do you choose?
So we ask them. So like at adoption events, someone will approach us and be like, "Okay, I'm looking for a dog that's above 3 years old. We don't want a puppy." We go ahead and we ask them what kind of dog are they looking for, small, medium, or large. I know it's kind of funny saying small, medium, or large, but sometimes we need to be very specific. And we want to just see what kind of dog they're really interested in, because we don't want to have those cases where the dogs are returned to us.
Correct.
A lot of people don't want to. They believe that a dog at 3 years old is already fully trained, potty trained, doesn't bark, things like that. So we want to make sure that we find the perfect home for every single dog that we have.
That's amazing. So basically, you're trying. It's almost like an adoption agency, even for people. You do this whole background check on them first, and then you're trying to match them with this best match of what they're looking for. And I think that's amazing, the work that you guys do. But why don't you describe a typical day of what a cat owner can expect and what a dog owner can expect? Because I imagine that would be very different. And, I think the viewers would like to know what they're getting themselves into.
I don't know. I have both cats and dogs. That's kind of hard to answer.
Yes. I think our scenario, it's different than the average pet owner because we don't only have our personal pets, but we also have our fosters. So it's not that we just get up and have to feed one dog and one cat. I have to feed
average 8 dogs.
an average of 8+ dogs and cats, that could be in my home on a daily basis. So it's different for me than it would be, for example, for you that you have, I think, 4 cats. But I think any pet owner, they just need to make sure that they train their pet.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one thing. Because like Jenny said earlier, most people think that at 3 years old, a pet is fully trained and it's a perfect pet. And it's not. This animal, dog and cat, is coming with issues most of the times. Issues that we have to fix. And I'm really soft-hearted, so I'm not really the best one at fixing those issues. But I just go with the love more. But the new owner has to put in the work. They have to train the pet. They have to show them their new routine. They have to show them, how to get along, how to trust again, take them for walks. That's good exercise, for the human and for the pet. Exercise, walks, daily walks.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
You covered it all.
So, yes.
That is interesting how you talk about, because a lot of these cats and dogs that you're getting in, people are giving them up. People are maybe there's like pregnant cats or dogs that's having babies that and then they're given up. So they got emotional baggage. I can totally understand what you're saying, and it takes time for them to trust someone again. So that's a really good point that I think people need to think about, is you need to build that trust, just like a human relationship. We need to trust each other before you can start building that relationship. But I just wanted to go just a little bit deeper, because I don't want everyone thinking that you need to walk your cat too. So like if you decide to be a cat owner, is it, in your mindset, is it harder or more work than a dog? Or what are the pros and cons? Because there are cat lovers, there are dog lovers. You guys love both, So I know people want to help to adopt cats, they want to adopt dogs, but a lot of people probably don't want that be too disruptive, but they do want an extra person companion, a new more family member in the family. So yeah, I think it'd be great if you can go maybe just a little more specific on what a cat owner can expect and what a dog owner can expect?
So having a cat, I think, is so much easier than having a dog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I could have 5,000 cats in my house, I probably would over a dog. I love dogs, and I have 2 of my personal dogs. But cats are easier because just the fact that, you train them to pee and poo in their litter box,
Mm-hmm.
that's just already amazing because you don't have to walk all over your grass in the back and pick up poo daily, or open the back door so they can go to the bathroom.
Correct.
Cats, they stay inside.
Mm-hmm.
If you keep your cat trained to stay inside, of course. And you just make sure they have clean food and water. And when you sit down, they come and cuddle with you if they're the cuddly type of cat. And if they're not, I mean, you'll rarely see them, maybe once or twice a day. I have 3 personal cats of my own, and that's what I have. 2 loving ones that want to be up by my hip, and 1 that I can see maybe once a day. And that's mostly if I'm upstairs. A dog owner is it's just all about putting that time and effort into training it, creating a bond with it. Being a dog owner is not as hard as people make it sound. One big thing that we have issues with is people adopt. Like during COVID, everyone was adopting dogs, and then COVID was lifted, and everybody returned the dogs. Only because I'm not home all day. Dogs can be in a kennel at least 8 hours, 9 hours a day. They can be left alone, and dogs start picking up your schedule. If you get up at 7 in the morning, your dog's up at 7 in the morning. If you're going to bed at 10, the dog's going to bed at 10 with you. So dogs pick up your schedule. Cats, no, they do not. I tell you what to do.
So, Tania and Jenny, how can us and the viewers help you with the rescue?
Well, this is a good help getting the name out. And just all the viewers, just go visit us. We have a Facebook page, Mutts and Meow Rescue. We also have Instagram, but our most Facebook is the one that we use the most. Another way to help, we take donations. Donations, it's how we can keep going. We are not funded by the government, the city. Our funds all come from donations. So it's very important to keep the donations coming. And some people can't do monetary, but they'll be able to donate a bag of dog food or litter, cat litter, kitten food. Kitten season is coming, and it's coming fast. And a lot of kittens are going to be on the streets, and they call us. Can you take the kittens? We have 6 kittens. We have a mama with 6 babies. So we need food. We need lots of litter, and money for medication, vet bills, and all that stuff. So donations is the best way to help our rescue and any rescue. It's with money.
So it's from Mutts and Meow. You mentioned that we can reach out to you on Facebook and Instagram. So is the page Mutts and Meow Rescue? Like if people wanted to donate to you, what's the best way to reach out to you? Like they go to your website?
Yes.
Like, people reach out to you?
Yeah, just reach out to us through Facebook. That's the one that it's checked on constantly. We also have an email, but it's all listed on Facebook, which is Mutts and Meow Rescue. And it's got that green and purple logo in it, the cat and the dog, so it's easy to see. And that's the main way to reach us, through Facebook.
Thank you so much for being on the show, you guys. And
thank you for having us.
Up next, we're going to be showcasing a local business with a dear friend of mine. Stay tuned.
Hello. We are Mutts and Meow Rescue, a 501c3 nonprofit, foster-based, no-kill group. Mutts and Meow Rescue pulls dogs and cats from surrounding shelters in the greater Houston area. We even pick up dogs and cats abandoned on the streets. Mutts and Meow Rescue is foster-based, and rely on your donations to keep rescuing. To know more about us is to know more about our furry friends and help them find their forever homes. Come visit us at Mutts and Meow Rescue on Facebook today and decide how you can make a difference.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life show. And every week we like to highlight a local business that we know and trust to help build out our community. This week we have David Silver from Silver Artistry. David, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Trying to get in with this working remotely from a different city. So, David, I heard that you did some fostering back in. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, it actually everything that they were talking about with the Mutts and Meows just kind of really hits home with our experience. We started fostering probably back in 2006, 2008, and went all the way up until the pandemic, probably 2020, 2021 is right around whenever they stopped doing it, and because of the pandemic. But it just everything that they were talking about having a foster and the training is the number one thing. Anytime we got a new foster in, you had no idea where they were, their background, where they're coming from, if they're potty trained, if they're house trained at all, if they're going to get along well with our dogs. At the time, we had our own Dachshund, and he was a little lonely, so that's why we started fostering in the first place, is to kind of get him socialized, get him some another playmate. And then a couple fosters into it, we had our foster failure, which is where you end up adopting one of your fosters. And so we've had he's since passed, probably about a year or so ago, and now we have Cha-Cha, the foster failure, which we love to death, and she's still here with us. But little quirks about her that just made her just one of the ones that we just had to kind of keep.
That's amazing, David. You have such a big heart. Well, we're boosting community business. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do and how you can help everyone out there get their best shot?
Yes. So what I do is photography. I started out how most people do, is just pre-cell phone days, just going around taking pictures of things here and there. Being a little introverted, it felt a little bit more comfortable, just kind of taking pictures, like roaming around by myself, taking pictures of buildings, plants, landscapes, anything other than people, right. Which is kind of funny where I ended up here, which is, photographing people. It seems like the thing that I was most scared of and most afraid to do, to kind of interact with somebody, and at the time to kind of scared of getting the shot, kind of thing, is the thing that I do now, which is mainly focus on, and kind of pun intended there, focus on high school seniors, art portraits, and business headshots and branding, kind of thing with that.
You talk about all this portraits and headshots, and Min and I, we're a lot in Facebook, and everyone's doing their selfie, everyone's doing their professional shots with their phones. And I think there a lot of people need to know that they can use their phones to take headshots to promote their business, right? At the end of the day, what are your thoughts around that?
I've mentioned it a couple times in different meetings where I need to be better than the cell phone. I need to be better than this, because anybody out there, kind of raise your hands if you have one of these, and that's going to be everybody. So my competition is going to be themselves, but mostly the camera, which is kind of doing a lot of the work internally, but it kind of goes to, like, we all have pots and pans, we all have a stove, we all have ingredients in the fridge or the pantry, but Are we willing to make our own food, or are we, when we go out, you're just like, man, I don't know what it is, but this just tastes better than what I make at home. And that's kind of where stuff like this comes in, is where cameras doing a lot of things to kind of try to produce what it feels is the best lighting, the best picture, and all that. It's up to somebody else to have their vision as far as where to take it from there, to be a little bit more creative, either have your own lighting, have your own, sense of style when it comes to either fashion or location or just looks in general,
So why don't you tell us a little bit, because whenever I see professional photography, it's always this like, wow, look at that shot that he caught. So is it amazing shots by accident, or do you got that eye to give him that amazing shot that
So-
comes?
So that's where everybody with their cell phone and anybody who does want to become a photographer usually ends up. And that's where I started out, was that one shot where I'm like, man, the background's blurred and it's exposed. And what I felt like, kind of ranked up there with what I would see with pictures. But, that's the difference between being a random lucky photographer and a professional photographer, somebody who knows, can take a look, or can take a picture and kind of identify what's going on with it and reproduce it, and not just reproduce it in a lucky way, but continuously, on purpose, take that picture that somebody's looking for.
And do you get them to strike that pose, like?
Yeah. So people, there's some, I've been lucky to where I've had some people just fall into poses, and I photograph like guys and young gentlemen, young ladies, where I'm just kind of, okay, sit there and kind of do that, and then I see somebody like kind of, I'm like, what? Get out of there, and I'm like, are you doing this on purpose? Where they're just like, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to work with that. Great. But not everybody's like that. There's some people that need a little bit of guidance, where the contrast of that is somebody that sits there, and they don't know what to do. They're kind of frozen there. So it's, they don't really know how they look on the other end. And that's where my job comes in, is to kind of help guide them to get that other picture. And all you need is that like 1/200th of a second to capture it. That's all you need.
And I think that's amazing. I think that's really what distinguishes a professional, photo as opposed to a shot from your smartphone, because sometimes you think you're looking cool, but you're not.
Yeah.
Right? And I think where you come in, that's where your expertise comes in, is, well, maybe if you go with the lighting this way, or maybe not so exaggerate in your emotions. I think there's so much value in professional photography.
Yeah, and going back to the cell phone thing, there's a lot of people, so many people out there that will grab their phone and just go, think something like that is flattering to them. Well, it's just mainly probably something that they see other people doing, so they feel like it's a certain look, or the way puff up their lips and to take it from what they feel like is the best angle or something. And again, you could probably get lucky with a couple shots like that, but that's definitely going from a professional. Something not something that somebody wants to put on their LinkedIn in a business sense, or Facebook, or on their business webpage or something like that.
I agree. So David, what is the best way to support you? How do we reach out to you if people want to get your expertise?
So I tell anybody who's going to refer me out, anybody who's interested, just go look at my website, silverartistry.com. And that's going to probably give the better feel of, I'm not going to post everything that I do there. I'm going to post a small handful of things for each genre, just so somebody can get a look and feel of whether it be black and white, color, for a young person, somebody probably my age, just kind of get a feel of what it is. And it's really about, from there, do they see something that sparks something with them? And if so, contact me, reach out. If not, then that there's plenty of other people out there that probably they'll gel with. But the next step after that would be just to reach out. And that's where we have a consultation, just kind of talk about who they are, what they're looking for. Can I deliver it? Do we get along? All that stuff.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on our show this week. And once again, silverartistry.com. Thank you,
Yes,
David.
sir. Thank you.
Don't go yet.
Hi, everyone. This is Christy Boyd Johnson, the co-founder and CEO of the Barefoot Learning Club. We know that school can be a little scary these days. Between all the pretty horrifying stuff that's going on with bullying and shootings and whatever else is going on, our kids are having to endure this. And it results in a very rough situation. So we know a lot of parents want to homeschool, and that's why we're here. We're here to give you full support in homeschooling your children, making sure they get the foundational skills of reading, writing, and math in place so that they can literally do whatever they want. They can learn anything and do it with less stress, less time, and a lot more fun. And the best part is the results, you'll be amazed at the results that we get. So we would like to invite you to have it. If you want to talk to me personally, if you go to our website, barefootlearningclub.com, there's a Talk to Christy button. Just click it and it goes right to my calendar. Schedule a talk with me. It's a half an hour conversation and I can answer your questions and you can talk to me in person and I can talk to you in person and we can see if this is a good fit for you. I'm hoping it is. It's a new and different paradigm from anything you've seen before, but I think it's much better. All right. Ciao for now.
Welcome back to Chronically Healthy Life. By the way, that Christy is not with us today because she's actually at a hospital with her mother. So we're sending our best prayers to her.
Definitely. So what's the one action to take today, Minna?
Well, I think the one action item today is to really just toss out your bad sugars and replace with your good ones. And really, you don't have to sacrifice. There's no sacrifice in taste or anything. You just instantly make your life a little healthier. So, one action, change out your sugar. Better yet, try to cut it off altogether. And that will be infinitely better for you. So what are we talking about next week?
So next week, we're going to talk about all types of toxins. Like sugar is a source of chronic inflammation. Sugar is a toxin. People don't know about that. It's like a drug. It's a toxin in our body, which can cause chronic conditions and chronic diseases. So next time, we're going to talk a little bit more about how toxins and the different types of toxins can cause inflammation. And we're going to show you ways to detox the inflammation right out of your bodies. We'll see you all next week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.